So this morning I want to talk with you about wise and unwise attention. In the Buddhist teachings, this understanding is really quite rich in meaning. But this morning I want to simply look at what kind of attention we are cultivating. Wise attention is the giving of deliberate and careful attention to the arising of the wholesome in the present moment. Unwise attention is the giving of attention to the unwholesome, to that which is stressful, knowingly or unknowingly in the present moment, and thereby perpetuating it. There's an old Cherokee teaching that really offers a wonderful example of the importance of wise and unwise attention. An old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life. He says to the boy, "A fight is going on inside of me. It's a terrible fight between two wolves. One is evil. He is full of anger and envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego." He continues, "The other wolf is good. He is full of joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith." The same fight is going inside of you, dear grandson, and is growing inside of every other person. The grandson sat there and he thought for a moment. And then he looked at his grandfather and he said, "Well, which wolf will win?" And the elder said, "The one you feed. The one you feed." Elegant. Whether or not we've heard this story before, it's such an important reminder that that we have some say over how we relate to our experiences and emotions. Inadvertently, often, we dwell in negativity, either out of habit or because we don't really see it clearly enough to interrupt its flow. It just rolls along. But careful attention gives us agency to choose which wolf we feed. Do we feed the wolf who is hungry for anger? Or do we feed the wolf who is hungry for kindness? The mean wolf is our inner critic. It's the one that tells us that we're not enough. It's the one that says we're not in control and that we're victims of our circumstance. That's the mean one. That mean one also represents our depression, our anxiety, our low self-esteem. Do we want to feed that wolf? Or are we already feeding that wolf? But by cutting off its food supply, we make a choice. We make a choice to use our energy and our resources on thoughts and emotions that lead us in a good place, lead us to something that feels a bit more comfortable and at ease, a place where we can grow from. We cut off its food supply by training attention to notice which wolf is dominating the show. And by that recognition, that act of recognition, we put a stake, a mindfulness stake in the ground. That frees us from the jaws of the wolf. That allows us to slowly kind of back away to someplace a little bit more safe. But all of this hinges on seeing the unhelpful wolf in its many disguises. We have to see it, to notice and name the mean wolf with its unkind thoughts before we can do anything about it. Seeing clearly is critical for getting out of its hold. And that just takes practice. It takes time before the wolf can loosen its hold, before we become more adept at not giving into it and not feeding it. Once we stop fixating on it, once we stop fighting with it, once we can just simply notice when it's present and withdraw unwise attention, then it will slowly begin to loosen its hold. So what about the other wolf? What about the good wolf? Well, it's not going to feed itself. We actually have to do the exact same thing with the good wolf as we did with the mean wolf. We have to see the good wolf when it's present, see when kindness is present, when compassion is present, when joy or ease of well-being is present. Notice it, make much of it in order to bring that forward more clearly. Happiness comes from feeding the kind wolf. And as it grows stronger, it will become the inner resource that we need for dealing with life's challenges. And if we choose to only feed him, the kind wolf, it will always win. So that's what I would love for us to practice with today, is to practice with cultivating this careful, caring attention so that we can begin to see which wolf is running the show.